Welcome to the Sports Bros Podcast, featuring the almighty BLive, the money man Scottie D, and your host, the head of creative Eddy. The Sports Bros Podcast, by the fan, for the fan, talking sports just the way you like it. And without any further ado, let's give it up for the Sports Bros. I know one thing. After a week off, I miss my bros. I miss y'all. And with that being said, welcome to another episode of the Sports Bros Podcast. My name is Eddy. I go by the HOC, the head of creative. Maybe I should wash my forehead so it won't be so damn shiny before we go live. But that's neither here nor there. All right. We're back. We hope you had a wonderful Memorial Day holiday. Hope everybody was alive. I just hope the damn holiday was good. Sometimes you just need time off to recharge your battery, get your mind right, and take care of yourself, most importantly. But of course, you know I cannot do this by myself. I have not only one, but I have two of the best co-hosts in the world. Introducing first, the almighty BLive.
What's happening? What's going on in the world today? Man, the sports world has been rocked to its core through and through. And man, do you ever get the feeling that we're running out of sports? We're getting to that point in time in the summer that we don't have much left, but we're inching closer to football, but we're leaving basketball. We're right in the thick of things right now. And man, I don't like having a week off. I understand Memorial Weekend and family and stuff like that. And Scottie D want to shoot 120, shooting 40 over par somewhere. But it's okay. It's every now and then it is nice to relax and everything. But we are back. And let's go ahead and shoot over to the other guy so he can go ahead and introduce him. He's part of the team. And speaking of golf, we gonna talk about it. Go ahead and bring him in, I guess. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
They like how we allude to things. We are professional alluders, not evaders, but alluders. And the other guy, he is pound for pound the toughest lunch lady, ma'am, sir, personnel in all of Washington County. He is the one, the only, the money man, Scottie D.
Money, 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 money.
Ba-bom, ba-bom, ba-bom.
Money. Here comes the money. Here we go. Yes, sir. I was chomping at the bit last week I had a lot on my mind last week. And some of that actually has kind of drifted off because new things have happened. But, the last time we got together, right, this part of the show, BLive was apologizing for disrespecting the Heat. And then they scared us into thinking they were going to be the first team ever to blow a 3-0 lead. And then that didn't happen. And now I was convinced that they were going to lose in 4, possibly 5 gentlemen sweep. And now that's a series. A lot has actually happened since the last time we started this show, and we were not sure how we were feeling about the Miami Heat. They've done a lot since then. A lot's happened. But today, as we are broadcasting today, which would be yesterday if you're listening to this tomorrow, or if you're listening to this today. It was yesterday. I feel like I'm doing a solo Abbott and Costello routine here. We had some big news in the world of golf, and Eddy, let's start it off and let's just get right into this stuff.
Well, let's shut the hell up and get right into it. Let's get ready. Let's hop right into it. The top of the order. All right, let's get this thing started. Here it is, the top of the order. So news broke earlier today that the PGA and the LIV Golf Tour, they have merged. They are going to be working together. Now, we're not 100% too sure about the details at the moment, but it is breaking news because at one point they were adversaries that were at each other's throats. Some people didn't care about this, that, the third. Scottie D, we know you got a lot to say about PGA and LIV, this merger. What's on your mind? Let us know what's up.
I don't really know. You guys know how I feel about the LIV Golf Tour, that I was on its case constantly for being gimmicky and not taking it serious. And the the way they were doing the teams, and they were having 3 rounds instead of 4 rounds, and everybody's making the cut and the appearance money. All that to me was just like Harlem Globetrotter golf stuff, where it's kind of fun, but it's not really serious golf. And now, out of nowhere, this news came. Evidently, less than 12 people in the entire world knew this announcement was coming. Now, I don't know how they kept it bottled up, or if it happened very quickly and they had to announce it because it was going to get out. It was going to get leaked. I'm not really sure. I mean, there's no way that they were going to be able to keep these meetings and these talks going very long without the news escaping. But it is out. It is announced and it's official. But I don't even think they know what exactly they did, because as of Tuesday afternoon, the Commissioner Jay Monahan, PGA Commissioner Jay Monahan, was meeting with the players, and from what I was hearing on the PGA network, it was heated. It was heated. It was not good. Evidently, he just doesn't have the answers yet to give the guys what we're looking at. That's why I can't say whether I think this is going to be good or bad, because I don't know. I don't know what it's going to look like. I mean, I always said that LIV golf is not going to last very long. I said that from the get-go. I said there's no way it's going to last, because there's going to be a lack of interest and lack of TV coverage. And as we joked about it a couple weeks ago, how the CW didn't even show the end of the tournament. The last time they had a tournament, they cut away from it and showed paid programming or whatever it was on. But the one thing that the PGA commissioner said a few months, maybe even a year ago, was that the PGA was going to up their purse and do some different things going forward, but he knew that they couldn't compete dollar for dollar with them, because no matter how good or bad the LIV golf product was, they had that oil money coming out of the ground, and they could do it as long as they want to. They could do it forever if they want to, just paying guys. And that's where I think is the problem here, is that, the PGA, they look down on LIV golf. They said, oh, that's blood money, and we're supported by the 9/11 people. And then you had got Tiger Woods was offered like a $25 billion, and Rory McIlroy was offered $25 billion. I'm exaggerating, but it was a lot of money. And they turned it down to plant their flag in the PGA, while Brooks Koepka, Dustin Johnson, these guys took the appearance money, took the contract money, the upfront money, and then went out and tried to earn a little bit of extra just for having fun. So how is that going to work? If those guys are still under those LIV contracts, is that going to get honored? Because you can't have now an entire PGA tour all getting that kind of money, just upfront money. I mean, that, the PGA guys always said it's not even about the money. It's about we're competing to win. We're competing for the honor and earning the money. There are so many questions. They're saying that they might implement the team thing. That team thing sucks. I mean, nobody even knows about nobody knows how that worked or who won. I mean, they have like the fireballs and the goofballs, whatever names they're picking names last year, and nobody cared. I mean, golf's an individual sport. And speaking of like teams, how's this going to affect the Ryder Cup? I mean, that's coming up in just a couple short months. I mean, there's a lot of questions, and so far, no answers. So as much as I would like to say this is awesome or this sucks, I just really don't know, BLive.
I've had all the answers from jump. Like, see, here's the thing. I told you this before, and nobody believed me, that if they would just work together, it would be so much more beneficial for golf. Nobody listened to me. Y'all looked at me crazy. You said exactly what you said before, Scott. I don't see it's going to last. It's not on TV. It's not. First of all, money talks, BS walks. At the end of the day, if the money's there, it's going to last. Now, we did talk about the fact of how they can continue to funnel money if they're not making it. Are they going to continue to pay out the money? Yeah, that was a concern of mine as well, and I do agree with you on that. This will be nothing but pure speculation from a fan perspective when it comes to the merger of the PGA and LIV Golf Tour. I think at the end of the day, I think the schedule is going to be very similar. I think it's going to be more or less where it's going to be it's still going to be more PGA style, but essentially the players that are in LIV Golf are just going to be allowed to play in the PGA. I think that the PGA will do its best to honor some of the LIV golfing events, implement them into the PGA schedule. It may expand the PGA schedule a little bit, so it's not necessarily where they're competing against each other, but they're both making the same amount. It could be an offshoot like the European Tour, or it could be something of that nature where there will be two separate events on the same week. But I think
that's what they have to sort out, things like that.
Yeah,
they have to, and I guess there used to be a scheduler, like a committee or a board or something that made sure that that type of stuff was all taken care of, was all handled by, like, not just the tour people himself. But anyway, this is all bits and pieces of stuff I picked up.
All speculation. The team aspect of LIV Golf, and I'm going to poke the bear a little bit. Have you? I know you don't watch NASCAR. You probably don't know much about it, but NASCAR.
No, I just watch sports.
NASCAR has the same exact thing. It's an individual sport, but they have teams.
It sucks too.
Hendrick Motorsports probably is one, like, the team aspect of it for the past like umpteen years.
Awesome.
But that's they do compete against each other on the team aspect as well. So that's just additional incentive. Like, I think they may.
Yeah, but that's different. That's different though.
I think that'll be different.
The team thing with NASCAR is like a bunch of guys that are all under the same kind of sponsorship, and they still run their individual races. But these guys are actually working together, like they do, like in Ryder Cup kind of formats. However, whatever rules that they play under, but it's like that where they're competing as a team.
At the end of the day, Monahan, I guess the commissioner of golf, he's looking at all of these antitrust lawsuits and everything that's come on. Was like, dude, we're probably going to lose these lawsuits, because at the end of the day, these are independent contractors. We can't hold them and tell them that they can't do this or can't do that if we don't have them, like, they're not fully endorsed or however all that legalities go behind that. They had no backing behind. They were probably going to lose. The PGA was probably going to lose big on this. So they thought it was.
I don't know if they were going to lose, but I think they weren't willing to take that. They didn't want to take that battle anymore and spend that money to win. I think that was a lot to do with. They just didn't want to spend the money to fight those battles, when in fact what they were doing is fighting against the public investment fund of Saudi Arabia, who wanted to be in with the PGA to begin with. They wanted in to start with. The PGA didn't want any part of it, so that's why they started LIV Golf. That's why they got Greg Norman. So we're going to start this competition. And now, if they would have just taken this money to get from the start and allow this public investment fund from Saudi Arabia in to begin with, we would have never had these probably goofy LIV tournaments to start with. It was an alternative. They just guys want to splash some money around and be involved with golf.
Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, just want to let you know that Saudi Arabian oil money is everywhere. You can't get away from it. United States government is like, every person that drives a gas vehicle, every person that drives an electric vehicle, because I don't care how far you get away from it, the stuff is still made by oil, petroleum, the tires that are on your car, everything that you can't get away from. As much as everybody wants green this and blah, 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 yada, yada, you're not getting away from it. There is a reason why they have so much money. The world cannot operate without Saudi Arabia. Yeah. And every government in the world operates with Saudi Arabia. It has nothing to do with us taking blood money and 9/11. That is an extremist, and governments. Let me put it this way. I'm not even gonna do that. I'm not gonna do it. My bad. I forgot where we was at. I forgot where we was at.
I can understand why people would be upset with that. I do get that. For me personally, that was never my objection, really, so much live golf. To me, I just didn't like the separation of the best players in the world. And I think for the PGA, I think the PGA now sees this as an opportunity to mend that fence, to get them back in. And I think that the money that they were promising when last year they said we're going to do this, this, and this to improve the pot and all that, I think they thought that maybe they might have been in a little bit over their heads, promising more than they could deliver. And here's the way out. And rather get to the point of being desperate, they said we're just going to jump in bed with the devil, so to speak. I mean, and they got ahead of it. The thing is, though, it's the guys that were loyal to the PGA. That's what is going to need some fixing. I mean, at this point, there's nowhere for them to go. At this point, they can't say, Justin Thomas can't say, I was loyal to you. You let them back in. I'm mad. I'm going to another tour because there's nowhere else to go now.
Get over your feelings.
Yeah.
Now you're just in your feelings. I said this from Jump Street, and now we finally get to see it to a head. Golf will benefit. This will put eyes back on the television. It's going to, the fact that this is a story, I guarantee you, is going to generate revenue for the PGA. It's going to generate revenue. We're talking about it.
Mm-hmm.
People are going to watch. The fact that now we get Brooks Koepka back on TV, Bryson DeChambeau, we really don't care about Phil Mickelson. He's old. But Dustin, I'm being honest.
He's not old.
He's
more experienced. He's not old.
Phil Mickelson, just because you're the same age as Phil Mickelson and you're feeling so I was upset when Phil took that money because he knew he wasn't competitive anymore, but they took him as a face. I want to see Dustin Johnson compete again. I want him to come back to the PGA. It's going to be good for the PGA. It's going to hurt some feelings going to be hurt. Rory McIlroy, I know you was the face a PGA and all this and that.
Yeah,
it's going to be all right.
It's going to be interesting to see how these guys start playing together more often. Though, I mean, well, actually, next week is the U.S. Open, and that's not governed by the PGA or by LIV. So, some of these boys are going to be lining up on the tee box next to these LIV guys. Awkward next week. I mean, even more so than before.
Welcome back.
But this isn't happening just yet. These guys still have to figure out a way to get their PGA cards back, because this is just a funding thing. As of right now, the PGA is still going to be the PGA, and LIV still has whatever it is that they're doing. And then the remaining of this schedule of this year is not changing. This is going to be a 2024 thing, but there's a lot to figure out. There's a lot to work on. And I'm sure this is something that we're going to hear about weekly. This is going to be an ongoing thing. We're going to get a new update and find a little bit more out. Or maybe the whole thing just collapses and we're back to LIV versus PGA next week. That would be fun too.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, you never know. This is one of them things where it's kind of like you said, okay, do we continue fighting or do we just say the hell with it and just try to make money together? My whole thing is LIV golf. You got to find you a network, because don't nobody watch CW no more like they used to. It's just, I'm looking at my cable package. I don't even think I got on my cable package because I had a downside because it was too damn high. I can't even tell you what damn channel it's on. So I mean, put us somewhere where we can see what the hell is going on. And speaking of what the hell is going on, let's segue right into our next topic. The NBA Finals 1-1. Heat, never say die. Nuggets, mile high, making things happen. Fellas, we have us a series. Be live. What you think?
I am thoroughly impressed. I already mentioned a couple weeks ago about the greatness that is Eric Spoelstra. And you're seeing it full-fledged or full effect. On paper, across the board, Denver is a better team than Miami. Period, point blank. But coaching and defense wins championships. And I'm going to full out say that I know Michael Malone, all that talking you've been doing, and I've been believing all that talking. You've been carrying that big, gigantic Doritos flaming hot chip on your on your shoulder. And I say flaming hot because I made a post the other day how the fact that everybody is upset about all these Fast and Furious movies, but there's actually a movie out about the flaming hot flavor, but that's neither here nor there.
I'm gonna throw something. I'm going to throw. I need to.
Have you seen the commercial? Have you seen the flaming hot commercial?
It's
coming out on Hulu on my birthday.
If they made a movie about a cocaine bear, then I'm not surprised about them making a movie about flaming hot chips. Go ahead, B-Live.
It's an entire movie, June 9th on Hulu. I'm just want to get that plug in so I can get that money. Anyway, but no, Michael Malone, the ball is in your court because they're supposed to have figured out a formula that just might work. Take the ball out of everybody else's hands. The Joker is going to score his points. But at the end of the day, if Joker is scoring 41 with 4 assists, that's less points than 30 points and 14 assists. And it looks clear as day that the Nuggets are not used to the Joker being the primary point scorer. They're 0-3 when he scores more than 40 points. So they said, you know what? We're doing all this extra. We're trying to double. We're trying to swing over, go through pick and roll after pick and roll after pick and roll, after pick and roll after pick and roll, 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 after pick. You see the game. Man, they said, you know what, Joker, just do what you do. We're going to guard the other 4 players. We're going to put one person guarding you. You do whatever. We're going to guard these 4 players, and we're going to stop them from scoring. And i.e. Jamal Murray only having 18 points. And we see it on the scoreboard. I think it's genius. I think it's absolute genius. Now, of course, there's always going to be adjustments. Mike Malone, the ball's in your court. We're going to Miami. What are you going to do? And I am here for it. For all of you naysayers out there that said that this NBA Finals was going to be, it's going to be boring. I'm not going to watch it. The superstars and all the interesting stories aren't in it. Shut up! I told y'all this was going to be a good. Here's the thing. I thought Denver was going to steamroll them. I said Denver in 5. It still could be Denver in 5, but I guarantee it still very well could be Denver in 5. But this just made it very interesting, and I am here for all of it. Yes, sir.
They won one on the road, so that was important. Go ahead, Scott.
Ooh.
Well, Miami in the playoffs have been better on the road, so that hasn't been as big a surprise. I mean, it wouldn't surprise me if they went home and lost. Is it 2-3-2? Is that how we're doing it, or is it 2-2-1-1-1? I know in the past it's mostly been 2-3-2, but there was like 1 or 2 years where they switched it back, and I'm thinking they're at Miami for 3 games at this point.
Let me pull that up. I can pull up while you're doing your thing.
Well, you told me how good a coach Eric Spoelstra is, and I concur. I do think he's probably the premier coach in the league, but that dude wouldn't be 2-2-1-1-1. Oh, okay. That dude wouldn't be sitting there if Boston didn't completely insist on playing one way, and that is shoot 3-pointers, and there's no backup plan. Because in game 6 on the road, the Celtics shot 7 of 35 from downtown, and it took a very fortunate bounce off the rim and a putback with 0.5 of a second left to get Boston.
Sorry about that. Go ahead.
So Boston at home now with all the momentum in the world on their home floor, 9 of 42 from 3-point range, and to hell with any other strategy. We are shooting these threes tonight, and they got smoked on their home floor. What a choke job! Well, and I know their best player had a bum ankle, but still. 9 of 42, and you don't do any kind of adjustment. Miami just had to just keep playing basketball. They didn't have to do anything special right there. And Miami, that's how they won their road game in Denver is by bombing threes. And that's not a team that's going to shoot that many threes like that. They have shot the lights out. They were not one of the better 3-point shooting teams in the NBA this year, but in the playoffs, they have been very efficient shooting the three. And if you look at the stats on game 2, Denver was, you wouldn't look at those stats and say Denver got beat. I mean, it came down to a Jamal Murray 3 to tie the game, and they very could easily won in overtime. It wasn't like Miami blew them out, but Miami had to pretty much play a close to perfect game in the second half to be in that position. And they got off to a great start and made Denver work to come back, because Strus was over 10 in game 1, and he came out with 3-3-pointers in the first couple of minutes of that game and kind of set the tone, gave Miami a little bit of intensity, a little fire, and they were off and running. What can Miami do at home? You got to hold your home floor, because I don't know that they can withstand going back to Denver and having to win there any longer. I still think that I got to change my mind. I said Denver in 5. I think it's going to be 6. I think Miami is going to win one of those games at home, and then I think Denver's going to win the rest. I still think that, because I think Denver is just superior to him.
And at the end of the day, like, and I pull up some numbers real quick, and like in the Boston series, in the 4 wins that the Heat won, they shot 48% from 3-point. And they win that one game they beat Denver. They shot 17 for 35, over 50% from 3-pointer. That makes a difference when they're hot. They're hot, and live by the.
But how did they not get to the free throw line? In game 1, they shot 2 free throws.
That's where you die by the 3.
That's ridiculous.
Drive the ball, drive it, take it. Do something. Anyway,
that's ridiculous.
But Matt Strus, he said, "Screw it, I'm gonna stay exactly right here," because Matt Strus, by the way, has taken 1 2-point attempt in 2 games. Every other shot has been a 3-pointer. I think he went 4 for 10. I don't have it directly in front of me, but I think he went 4 for 10, and all of them were for 3-point line. But at least he made 4, because the first game he went 0 for 10, 0 for 9 behind the arc. But so.
That's ridiculous. That's ridiculous.
Very extremely ridiculous.
You know what else is ridiculous? Let me just throw this out here.
Here we go.
Oh, here we go.
I was unable to watch game 1 because I went to see Dave Chappelle in Pittsburgh. I went to see my comedic hero Dave Chappelle down in Pittsburgh, and when I was in the car on the way home, I wanted to listen to the NBA game, and Doris Burke's ridiculous voices on the radio, so that ruined it for me. I listened to music the rest of the way home and had to read the box score. That's ridiculous, putting Doris Burke on ESPN radio. They're talking about ESPN making some cuts, upcoming cuts. They don't cut her. What a missed opportunity that would be.
Scottie D was on a date for Dave Chappelle.
Oh, so that's what it was. He was on a date. Scottie was our Scottie boy had a date. A date.
I am a very, very handsome man, so occasionally
an attractive woman
likes to attend an event with me. So there you go.
Get him, killer. Get him. Get him. Yep. So so that's good that you had a good time, at the Chappelle date, Scottie D, and the finals and everything. Right before we go, real quick, fellas, Shannon Sharpe leaving Undisputed. What are your thoughts on that?
The writing was on the wall. The writing's been on the wall, and I absolutely applaud Shannon Sharpe for the professionalism that he's shown throughout these past few months. I would have dropped freaking Skip Bayless right after that DeMar Hamlin debacle. I'd have dropped him immediately. I'm like, here's the thing. With these TV contracts, I wouldn't be surprised if he said he was out back then, because it takes time. You can't just up and just quit, like just say, nope, I'm done. You can be held and liable and have to owe back some of your contract money and stuff like that. I bet money that's where it started. He probably, that day he took off, he probably went to the execs, like, you know what? I can't do this anymore. Like, there's a such thing called journalistic integrity. As much as you put on a face and put out a product and everything, at the end of the day, if you don't truly believe what you're talking about, you truly just, it's only so much you can do. And the writing's been on the wall. And he's going to shine. He is absolutely going to shine. This is not the last we've seen of Shannon Sharpe. I'm hoping it's the last we see of Skip Bayless. As much as he's contributed to what sports talk is now, I'm going to give him his flowers. I'm giving him his roses, but he's behind his time. Him and what the dude name yelling old dude on
Mad
ESPN.
Dog, Chris Russo.
Hey, give them their flowers, but they're past their time. They're beyond their time. Yeah. That's just me. That's my honest opinion. Scottie D, what you think?
Let's take a break and then so I don't run over here so I can before we rebut.
Okay,
cool.
So I got you. Hey, we taking a break and we coming right back to talk about Shannon Sharpe leaving Undisputed and Fox Sports 1. Could he go to ESPN? You never know, because Stephen A. Smith said, hey, I would welcome him with open arms. Ooh. Coming up next right here on the Sports Bros Podcast. Scottie D.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday weekend to Be Live.
Be Live.
Happy birthday to you. Now go try to blow out a bunch of candles and stay safe.
And we're not trying to set a fire. Fire marshal bill, none of that. Gotta go.
Let me tell you something. If I just brought the candles, something just might happen. Be Live, we love you, man. Happy birthday, all right? Happy
I love y'all, man.
Birthday. Enjoy yourself. And put something on Be Live Cash App, all right?
Appreciate it.
All right, y'all. Back at you again right here on the Sports Bros Podcast. And when we left off, we were talking about Shannon Sharpe leaving Fox Sports 1, taking Club Shay Shay with him, and leaving Undisputed. Be Live said his piece. Now it's the money man, Scottie D. It's your turn.
Well, I have never been a fan of Skip Bayless, and you'd think I would like him because we root for the same football team. And that's like a topic of conversation on his shows all the time, whether it was back with Stephen A. or now with Shannon. And I didn't even really like watching him and Shannon for the longest time. But after a while, Shannon began to grow on me. I don't know anybody like Skip. I think it kind of goes back to years and years ago when Howard Stern was still up and coming. There was like a study that said that people that hate him listen to him like whatever it was, and 40 minutes longer than people who like him or something like that. You just want to hear what he's going to say. There's got to be a little bit of that for Skip to have like the power he has. Be Live, yeah, I think the whole thing with the DeMar Hamlin tweet definitely was. I think that was more the straw that broke the camel's back than it was the seeds that were planted. Because if you remember, we kind of dissected that tweet. The tweet itself, what Skip said, kind of got misinterpreted. And I always thought that what he said wasn't that bad. But the fact is, Shannon, his partner and his friend, asked him to take it down. That should have been good enough. That should have been the reason. He should have said, you know what? If it's going to smooth this situation over, instead he said, I'm standing by. It wasn't even that big of a statement to make. It was just something that it was an observation he made. I am standing by, I'm not taking it. And then he interrupted him, and that kind of unraveled on live TV when that happened. But I think at that point, I think that pushed Shannon a little bit over the top, because earlier that month, Tom Brady had a situation where he played against the 49ers and got blown out, and Skip was, as always, defending Brady, and it turned ugly. And he was saying to Shannon, you're jealous. He's 45 and you were never that good. And it was disgusting. It was embarrassing. And I think that might have been the very beginning.
I think
that was
planet right there.
There was so much disrespect on this. I was like, why would you go that deep on Shannon's show? This is a guy that's helping you put food on your table with ratings, because Shannon's popularity has swelled since he started. And if you go back, and I mean, I haven't seen, but I can remember when they started that show thinking Shannon Sharpe wasn't all that good at that job. And to the point where now I watch him or listen to that show every day that I work out. I get on the Stairmaster and I put that on and I watch 20 minutes or so of what they're saying. And it's mostly because I now value what Shannon Sharpe says. I think
My question is this: who was on there before Shannon Sharpe?
Shannon Sharpe. It was Skip and Shannon.
Yeah, there was that was the start of the show.
It was.
That's what I was like. Yeah,
It was Skip, Shannon, and Joy Taylor running the point.
And now it's
Jen Hale.
Jen Hale. But yeah, and I was like, but what was Skip doing before Shannon Sharpe?
He came from ESPN to go to that show. Yeah, when his ESPN contract ran out with Stephen A, he went there to do the show. So now he most likely is not done. They are going to put someone else in that seat. And I've heard some different names. The name that immediately popped into my mind, and I shared with you guys, was what's it, Acho?
Emmanuel Acho.
Acho,
yeah. I thought he would be good, but since then I'm going to take that back because Acho worked side by side with Martellus Bennett, and Bennett has said on his podcast that Acho has a little bit more kind of alpha in him, like he would want more decision, and it seems like Skip at this point is going to be like the decision maker on the show, so he's going to have a little say, and that could lead to another bad situation. So there's a handful of people. It's got to be a person of color, I would believe, to just to kind of balance out the crusty old white guy, and just to keep that dynamic.
He called him crusty.
I'm just saying, but because he is, and I would, and you know what, I would love to debate Skip Bayless any day of the week, twice on Sunday, and the reason why I would want to do that is because I would see I'm a different type of person. I don't think y'all realize what I do in my off time. I'm in sports groups on my off time, and all I'm doing is debunking every dumb thing I see, and I trash talk for a living. And I hear all these dumb takes all the time, and all I do is like, wait a minute, did you even research this? You're wrong. You're stupid for even saying that. And here's the facts. Oh man, but that's what I do. Skip. One thing I do like about Skip is that he's very factual when it comes to he'll pull up stats that I'm like, Jesus, like he's researching, somebody's researching, and he comes with a lot of stats I didn't even think of. I'm like, ooh, that's a nice little piece to it. But that whole shot job.
But do you think you're going to watch him though? Do you think you're going to watch him now?
Absolutely not.
I mean, I can't see me watching him because I don't like it.
Sheer more curiosity as to who's going to be paired with them from that point on, like.
There's one guy I would watch if they paired with him, and this was a suggestion that Marcellus Wiley had. Michael Irvin and Skip. I mean, I know there'd be like an insufferable amount of Cowboys rah talking there, but Michael Irvin would maybe be a good foil to Skip because of his personality. But some of the other names I heard, Victor Cruz. I don't care what he has to say. Shady McCoy.
I'd like to see Marcellus Wiley.
Yeah, I don't know. He didn't even throw his own name into it, though. I don't think he would want that chair either. There's a lot of guys that don't because they don't want to be across from Skip. And as you said, Shannon was extremely professional, and you could see it from after that situation about the tweet, the DeMar Hamlin tweet. You could see in Shannon's face a lot of times he was being polite and doing his best to just get back to business. But it didn't. I didn't think it felt the same as before that. I always thought there was still like a little something. They still talked about betting the do and fist bumped at the beginning of the show and all that stuff. But I just never felt like it was quite the same after that blatant disrespect segment, and then followed up with that other thing. And at that point, like you said, BLive, on that day off, Shannon took a day off after the DeMar Hamlin thing because he didn't want to be the story. And I think at that point he said, I knew I got to go. It's a matter of figuring it out when. So when the NBA finals are gone, so is Shannon. And I'll watch him wherever he goes.
Hey,
I'll watch him.
Wherever you go, Shannon, you got three of us watching wherever you're at.
Yep.
I don't want to see him on First Take.
If he does go in there, it's going to be like a spot appearance here and there, because Stephen A. Smith has already said I'd welcome him with open arms, but I'm not looking for anybody full time, because he said I like all the people I have, and they come on different times during the week. And he said, I like that dynamic. I have a nice diverse group, and I'd like to invite Shannon to be part of that. But that if he goes to that show, it's not going to be like a daily thing like this was before.
No, but that's the thing about it. Shannon Sharpe deserves a daily show.
Well, you know what he should do? He should do what Marcellus Wiley is doing. Marcellus Wiley, he's independent. He has his own thing on YouTube, and Shannon Sharpe already has a popular and successful podcast, Club Shay Shay. Like, as you guys know, I'm a podcast guy. That is what I do. And there are some podcasts that I can listen to, and there are podcasts that I can watch. 3 podcasts, the Sports Bros podcast, which you can find on YouTube. Like, subscribe, rate, comment, show us some love, share.
Shameless plug.
Yes. Club Shay Shay and The Pivot with Ryan Clark, Fred Taylor, and Channing Crowther. Like, those are 3 podcasts that you have to watch. I mean, listening is cool, but you got to watch. Especially when it comes to us, because you get to see all these wonderful faces. And let me make sure my lips ain't ashy, but but yeah, Shannon Sharpe will be fine, man. Shannon Sharpe is, I think, outgrown the show. His popularity has risen over the last few years. I mean, he's a brand. He's got his podcast. He got a cognac off the miles in the yak. So yeah, he's going to land on his feet, and he is going to be fine. But with that being said, fellas, looking at my phone because it's about that time. Guess what time it is?
What time is it? What's happening? What's going on right now?
Oh, I'm glad you asked. After a long week hiatus, it's time once again for our favorite portion of the show, the choices of the voices. And I got them papers. And with that being said, hey, yo, button, hit it. Choices of the voices coming at you. Not now, but right now.
And now, our favorite part of the show, the choices of the voices.
Once again, thank you to the wonderful land. Scottie D, hold your ears. So love you, Miss Button, for introducing our favorite portion of the show, the choices of the voices. 206 episodes in, you know how we do it. We ask y'all the question, you give us the answer. Sometimes y'all don't like to listen, but we we
follow instructions.
Honorable mention. Now we can tell who the hell paid attention in school and who the hell didn't. With that being said, Scottie D, what's on tap for this week's choices of the voices?
All right, so we asked you, the listeners, our followers, our friends, our family, to list the Mount Rushmore of Major League Baseball pitchers that you have seen. And I have to say, this little segment provided some of the stupidest answers in the history of our show. There are some answers on here that I can't wait to just tear right apart. So with that being said,
I'm gonna go ahead and give a little disclaimer notice real quick, because I know he's ready to do this. I'm gonna do my best Shannon Sharpe impersonation, because I know there's a couple he wants to go after, and I'm gonna be devil's advocate. Okay. Just let it be known, these is jokes. Don't take it personal.
And we love
you. And all the other things.
Take some of what I'm going to say personal.
Shut up, Scottie D.
Hell, here we go.
Take it personal when I rip to shreds some of these answers.
I got your back. I got your back, people. I already know one of them. I've had conversations behind the scenes about one particular, but it's okay. I got your back. All right.
But before B-Live and Scottie D skipping Shannon each other, but I mean that in a good way, not a bad way. All right, let's go ahead and get right into it. All right, Tom Wynn, he says so many choices. Of course, if relievers count, Mariano has to be there with Maddox, Gibson, Pedro, Clemens, Randy, or about 9 people right there.
Yeah. And
so how many presidents are up on that mountain? 4.
And the thing about it was, we had this conversation before we went on our little brief break. All right, I even told y'all, hey, if you look at Mount Rushmore, there's 4 presidents. There's not one in the front, one hiding in the back, 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, I should have put a picture up. All right, Rodney Bellamy, he says Greg Maddux, Pedro Martinez, Carlos Zambrano, and Henry Rowan Gardner.
All right, Henry Rowan Gardner's a fictional character from a movie.
I figured.
So that's fine. I put up the Charlie Sheen picture from Major League. So I'll allow that. Who was his other ones? Who else did he say?
Greg Maddux, Pedro Martinez, Carlos Zambrano of the Cubs.
Carlos Zambrano of the Cubs. Come on, Rodney Bellamy. He's not one of the 3 best pitchers you've ever seen pitch. No, he's not. I know you've watched enough baseball to next.
See, there's going to be, okay, again, like I said, there's going to be a lot of homer picks here.
Yeah.
And we're going to allow them because this is what the choices is all about. Scott, you can't ask the question.
Next.
Get the responses, and then just because they didn't interpret it the way you wanted to be interpreted, then you're going to rip them apart. I won't allow it. It's good. You get a pass. Yes.
All right. Coming up next, Josh Baker. He says Cy Young. And we know you ain't seen no Cy Young, but Christian Mathewson, Nolan Ryan, Greg Maddux, and in parentheses, Clemens could fit in for Ryan or Maddux if you enjoy controversy. 1, 2, 3, 4.
He put 5, but one of them he definitely did not see. And
2 he didn't see. Christy Mathewson pitched in like the 40s, so he didn't see 2 of those pitches. So he gave us 3. So either way, his math is completely wrong. What's the barber say? Next.
That one I can't excuse because we clearly said pictures you have seen.
Yeah,
the same.
Scottie D, I think when you type the question, put it in all caps. That means you yelling at people. But anyways, so here we go. We got Jeffrey Lewis. What's up, Jeffrey Lewis? He said, I'll add Smoltz to the list because of years of steadfast starting with Atlanta. He continued his career to be a dominant closer, and he didn't give us 3 more. All right, moving right on.
I think he did on another one, didn't he? Didn't he have another?
Well, no, it wasn't him. That what he did is that he was adding to the 3 pictures that you put up there. I didn't include in here all the responses that I gave because I'm like, give your 4, like give me 4. Take the 3. If you're using those 3, put them in your comments so we could do this a little bit better. I said that, and I also said that one of those is a fictional character. So I need 4 from you. I said that, and you still didn't listen. So
reading comprehension is evidently not the strongest suit for people that are following us here. So, all right, next.
But we still love you. What does the barber say, Scottie D?
Next.
All right, Tremaine Fuller says Randy Johnson, Nolan Ryan, Kurt Schilling, and Pedro Martinez. My God, Tremaine gave us 4.
Okay,
but that was after a lot of teeth pulling. I simplified it, but there was some teeth pulling there because he wanted just to add. I think he wanted to add Kurt Schilling to the list. I'm like, no, dude. One of those is a fictional character. I need 4 from you, and he finally got to this. But now I give him props. He did eventually get to the 4. I'm okay with that. Yes, sir.
I think Tremaine also mentioned on that thread, if I'm not mistaken, that his eyes were a little low. He might have been hanging out with Rob Van Dam. All right.
He was chilling in Colorado. Is that what he was doing?
Yeah, he was hanging out on the left coast, if you know what I mean. All right, so Jose, I don't want to butcher his name, but we're gonna call him Jose with an I. He says Nolan Ryan, Roger Clemens, Randy Johnson, Greg Maddux. Oh, here we go. Honorable mention: Mariano Rivera and Pedro Martinez. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, here we go.
All right, but at least he said honorable mention. That's okay. I'm not gonna pick that one apart. I'm gonna be nice on that one.
All right. Corey Turner says Randy Johnson, Cy Young, Corey, Greg Maddux, and Pedro Martinez.
Another guy that's seen Cy Young pitch.
There's only one person on this entire show.
Don't you do it. Don't you do it. Don't you do it. Move.
Roll Tide.
There. Move right along. We got Jonathan Wood. He said Tom Clavin, Greg Maddux, Randy Johnson, John Smoltz, and Mario Ronald Rivera. 1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
Scott, what's the barber say?
Next.
Maddie,
maybe that's the case of that person. Who was that had those sweat?
That's my boy Jonathan Wood. He's
okay. Maybe Jonathan pictures the Mount Rushmore, and then Adds Trump. So now there's 5 up there.
No. Okay, first of all, let's not even continue that. If there's going to be a 5th person on Mount Rushmore, it's the one person that broke the barrier, and is Barack Obama. Let's just leave it at that. This is not a debate for discussion, and I'm going to be the barber this time. Next.
Oh boy, here we go. Matty Ice Martin Tracy. He says, duh. Roger Clemens Pedro, not from south of the border. Wow. Fernando Jim Palmer, and for my closer, Dennis Eckersley and Goose Gossage.
So 6 for Matty Ice.
A lot going on. And just to say something, being in North Carolina, a lot of people in North Carolina really are real excited about south of the border for some reason.
It's not all that.
I've honestly never been. And but the people be taking pictures. I was like, but I digress.
Yeah. BLive, we passed by it on our way to Fuquay Varina. All right, so here we go. We got the best name in the game. Yes, JoJo Comfort. He says Randy Johnson, Greg Maddux, Nolan Ryan, and Pedro Martinez. Pretty good.
Boom. There's a list.
Oh, here we go. We got another list. We got Brian Lowell. He said Nolan Ryan, Randy Johnson, Greg Maddux, and Tom Glavine. All right, next up.
I think we had to amend him. I think I had to discipline him, and they gave us 4.
I think Josh actually answered on both 2 different things. So I just saw that too. Yeah, he answered on 2 different feeds. So
yep. He gave us 9 other pictures. We're gonna read them anyway. Pedro Martinez, Tim Lincecum, Clayton Kershaw, Randy Johnson.
Lincecum.
Yeah.
He had 2 different answers. Good Lord.
Yeah, he just named it every pitcher he ever saw that won a game.
Yeah. Kurt Schilling could fill in for Clayton Kershaw. Just didn't want 2 Sox guys. Hey man, it is what it is. All right. Start out the big Stan Sagley. He says Nolan Ryan, Greg Maddux, Roger Clemens, and Randy Johnson. Mark Olds, he says, funny that you have Randy Johnson on here. My daughter asked me Thursday night at Wrigley Field if the Pigeons ever got hit by a ball. Explosive. I would say Nolan Ryan, Doc Gooden, Roger Clemens, and Mariano Rivera. Okay.
Doc Gooden. Okay.
Yep. You know what? Doc Gooden, for a short period of time there, for a period of like 3 or 4 years, was on pace to be like one of the all-time greatest pitchers. So like prime Doc Gooden, that window Doc Gooden was as good as anybody. So
yep. All right.
He just didn't have longevity, in my opinion. But go ahead.
Right.
Couldn't leave that stuff alone. Mark Olds, Clay Huffstetler. Yes, I got it right the first time. I'm just going to give my answer based off the pitches I've seen pitch live. All right.
Which was the question.
We appreciate it, Clay. Leaving out the greats from the 50s, 60s, 70s, and before. But I'm going with Greg Maddux, Randy Johnson, Pedro Martinez, and Mariano Rivera. Even though I really hate the Yankees.
Okay, see, good answer. That wasn't so hard.
Yep,
and then he later apologized for that answer for some reason. I don't know why, but it's like that was actually a very good answer.
Lord have mercy. Craig Burns gave me a whole paragraph. So we're going to go with Roger Clemens in 86, the Mark Fidrich, okay, and then he the Bird. Let's see. He mentioned something about Doc Gooden, John Tudor,
and Randy Jones.
Randy Jones, and that was his TED Talk. He said, thanks for coming to this TED Talk. Craig, look at him. I ain't finna read all this mess here. No, I'm sorry. He said, from my childhood, he said Bob Gibson, Sandy Koufax, Juan Marichal, and Jim Bunning. All right.
That was Uncle Max.
That was Uncle Max.
Oh, I'm sorry. The Hall of Famer. I'm sorry. Hall of Famer, Uncle Max. He chimed in. We forgot to add a name up here from Uncle Max's childhood. Bob Gibson, Sandy Koufax, Juan Marichal, and Jim Bunning. All right.
So he's saying that he did not see Cy Young live. So
boy, leave him alone.
But I'm glad he's old enough to put those answers down, though, because those are some of the all-time greats right there.
Oh, absolutely.
Based on our list, can't rightfully put those down there.
Yep. Shout out to our Hall of Famer, Uncle Max. My whole all's well with you. John Wasick, good. I pronounced his name right too. He said, I'm going with guys I saw pitch, like we asked you to. Tom Seaver, he was well. Seaver had an inning. Steve Carlton, prior to the 85 season for the same reason. Mariano Rivera, the dude was especially tough and had a high baseball IQ, and Roger Clemens because I have no moral compass.
Okay.
And ladies and gentlemen, that's it for our listeners with the choices of the voices. Be Live top 4. Who you got?
This is too easy for me. It's too easy. From what I've seen, and this is going to be my homer answer. And Scottie D, you can pick me apart all you want to. I don't care. This is what I've seen in my lifetime, and I love it, and I want some more of it. Is as follows: Greg Maddux, Tom Glavine, John Smoltz, and Mark Wohlers. Go ahead. Say what you want to. I could care less what you got to say. That was my 1995 lineup. I think for my World Series champion Atlanta Braves. Yes, I did all of that.
I think you took him out with Mark Wohlers. I think that's what you took him out.
I know I did.
I was gonna not say anything when you gave me those other guys. Mark Wohlers?
Yes.
Wohlers? Somebody else put Jamie Moyer. I had Jamie Moyer on this. I have
Series
Mark Wohlers?
World Series champion 1995, and you said 4. You messed around with me. I'd have said Steve Avery right in there. So I said exactly what I said.
Oh
Steve Avery had a horrible year that year, but he won one when it counted in the World Series. I almost put him on there, but you only allowed him to fold. And yes, Mark Wohlers was our closer that year when Atlanta Braves won it all in 1995.
What a disaster this question turned out to be.
Spencer Strider, he's only his second year, but he's going to be on my Mount Rushmore very soon. He keeps doing what he's doing. I think he's going to have a record-breaking year this year for strikeouts. Watch out, Nolan Ryan. Watch out, Randy Johnson. Spencer Strider's on your heels. Watch him work. I said what I said. Scottie D, straighten your face.
Who you got, Scott? Oh boy.
I just you took the wind out of my sails. All the momentum I had going in. My partner who was helping me make fun of people through Mark Wohlers as one of the 4 greatest pitchers you've ever seen. Wow. Sheesh.
Who you guys got?
All right. With all due respect,
whenever anybody says with all due respect, they about to say the most disrespectful thing ever.
No, with all due respect, I'm not going to include Roger Clemens just because of the steroid thing. I'm not including Clayton Kershaw because his postseason struggles bother me. And
he's a bum.
Not my bad.
He's a bum.
And it pains me not to put Randy Johnson up on that mount because he was really good, but I saw him struggle as a Yankee, and that bothered me. I'm gonna agree with you on Greg Maddux. Greg Maddux might have been the smartest pitcher that I've ever seen because he didn't have the hard fastball. He just knew how to get guys out. I remember hearing a story one time. He told his center field, and I don't remember if it was Otis Nixon or somebody that was after that, but he said, I want you to move like into right center a little bit more and back to the warning track. I'm pitching against Sheffield. I can't strike him out, but I think he's going to hit the ball to the warning track. And that's what he did. And an out's an out, but that's how he knew that's how I'm going to have to get this guy out is to pitch in that way.
And this was well before computer analytics. Like
yes,
like that. Yeah. So I 100% agree with you on that.
I think he was one of those guys that kept like a notebook of thing, wrote everything down and documented things. So that one, I think he was just like ahead of his time with how smart he was. And he pitched late. He was throwing like Jamie Moore fastballs too late in his career and was still getting people out. I mean, he wasn't as dominant late, but he was still an effective pitcher late into his career. I'm going to go Dro just because he had some of the nastiest stuff I've ever seen, and he had the nastiest attitude. Like he just knew, I'm getting you out. I'm getting you out. And he kind of had like an intimidation factor about him. Just nasty stuff. Mariano Rivera closed. He had one pitch, and everybody knew it was coming, and you couldn't hit it. It just throw it in, and it'd break the bat. And he discovered that pitch by accident. But what it did was it saved inning. It shortened games. The Yanks knew They only had to get 8 innings worth of outs from the other pitchers because when this guy came in, the game was over. So he shortened games. And my last guy I'm picking, just because he's probably the best pitcher that I've seen in my lifetime, is Justin Verlander, just because he also has had some longevity. This guy was good enough to be the MVP of the league a few years ago.
Yep.
And he was a guy that, until his recent years, was always out there too. He's another guy who just took the ball all the time, gave you innings, and just dominated hitters. And he had a little bit of that swagger and attitude as well. And he scored Kate Upton, and it's hard to argue against that. So those are my 4. Verlander, Pedro, Maddox, and Mo out of the pen. That's my Mount Rushmore. And that's probably the correct answer. Eddie Cool. There's no Mark Wallers or Jamie Moyers or Carlos Zambranos on my list. Eddie Cool, give me something good here. Let's finish the segment strong.
Yeah, me and Scottie D, we were talking about Jamie Moyer. I was like, damn, I didn't know he played 20 years. I had no idea. All right, so Eddie Cool's top 4 Mount Rushmore of all-time pitchers. We got to go number 1, the big unit, Randy Johnson. For a guy his size to be on that mound and do it, the dude blew up a bird. All right.
Yeah,
he blew up a bird. All right, that just shows you power and velocity of how strong his pitch is. And now he's a photographer by trade, and he's pretty good at it. So the big unit, you got Randy Johnson. Then you got Greg Maddux, because Greg Maddux was he wore them glasses, but that joker was the professor.
Yeah,
he was the professor. He got it done. Pedro Martinez, because he threw Don Zimmer to the ground.
I knew that was somebody going to mention that. I knew that was happening.
No, but like you said, Pedro Martinez, when he was, he's like, look, I'm gonna get you, because Pedro Martinez was confident. He had nasty stuff. He don't give a damn how he. Hey, like I said, if he had no problem beating up Don Zimmer, imagine what he did to the hitters, right? And number 4, Trevor Hoffman.
Oh, he is one of the all-time great closers.
Yeah, Trevor Hoffman, man. When you saw that 51 coming out that dugout for the Padres, man, between
Hell's bells.
Yeah, Hell's bells. What's guaranteed? What's 4 things that's guaranteed? Death, taxes, Mariano Rivera, and Trevor Hoffman. So, man, there's my top 4 there.
That's a good one. I like that. I like Trevor Hoffman.
There's my top 4: Trevor Hoffman, Mariano, Randy Johnson, and the Professor, Greg Maddux. Scottie D, what's on tap next week for Choices of the Voices?
All right, I had another baseball question, but I just feel like I've exhausted everybody. So next week, we're going to just ask a good, simple question. Who is your all-time favorite cartoon character? And that's going to give us something to talk about next week.
Oh, boy. Here we go.
Oh, this is good.
You already know if this is going to be anything similar like we had with the cereal,
yeah.
Here we go. I feel like we're just going to get a lot. We're going to get a lot of answers.
Hey, I think we just need to relax our brains next week and just have a nice, simple, broad question. I know it's not a sports question, but what the hell?
The reason behind this, ladies and gentlemen, is because y'all don't know how to count to 4. This right, like
so we have to dumb it down next week.
Yeah, we got to completely dumb it down. Scottie D wants. I'm gonna say it for you. We're dumbing it down for y'all. Your favorite one. Pick one. Just one. No, don't give me 5. I'm not even mad about honorable mentions from time to time. We don't want honorable mention. Give us one and give us why. Boom, there it is.
There it is right there. We went from
just don't listen, just hard-headed.
We went from baseball.
Just do what you want. Like
we went from baseball to cartoon characters. Your favorite cartoon character of all time.
We are not Burger King. You cannot just have it your way. Like, what is going on?
Oh man,
should we do top 3? Should we go top 3? Because we're going to get more than one answer. Top 3. We'll do top 3.
Right,
top 3.
It's your segment, man.
Top.
Okay, we giving y'all 3. Now, if you mess around and give us more than 3, I'm not gonna have. We is not gonna have it.
Sounds like I need to get the dump button ready. That's what it sounds like.
Yeah.
Oh man, here we go. All right, that's it for Choices of the Voices. Coming up next, a round of pepper. You know how we do it, and that's coming up next right here on the Sports Bros News podcast. Y'all ass got to listen.
Okay, boys, let's bring it home with a round of pepper.
Well, you heard, woman. It's time for us to go home and get what I call the hell up out of here. But before we go, we're going to do a round of pepper. You know how we do it. 3 topics, rapid fire style, kind of, sort of, not really here to engage, educate, enlighten, and entertain. You see that, y'all? 1, 2, 3, 4, just like Rushmore. I made it funny and I made a rhyme. All right. With that being said, I'll go first. On this day in history, back in 1980, Tommy John wins his 200th baseball game.
Tommy John.
Yep, a 302 hitter. And just in case everybody don't know who Tommy John is, the name sounds familiar. The surgery was named after him, and he was an actual real person. So, yeah, Tommy John getting it done, even with the Tommy John surgery. Over to you, Scottie D.
And also, he's on Tom Wynn's Mount Rushmore. All right. So, what I thought it was never going to happen is going to happen on July 29th in Vegas. That is Errol Spence versus Terrence Crawford. Finally, 2 of the best boxers are going to face one another, and I am here for it. There's not a whole lot of fights out there that fight fans, the casual fan, clamor for these days, but this is one of them. This is a fight that's probably 2 years, 3 years overdue. We're finally going to get it. It's only probably going to be overshadowed by the upcoming fight between Jake Paul and Nate Diaz, which, by the way, is in jeopardy because it's scheduled to happen in Texas, and the Texas Athletic Commission doesn't excuse medical marijuana, and Nate Diaz loves weed, so they might need to move that fight out of Texas. Anyway, stay tuned. 2 big fights coming up this summer. Jake Paul and Nate Diaz, and Terrence Crawford and Errol Spence. Be live. Over to you.
Well. My first pepper point, I'm just going to go ahead and come off rip with it. There's been talk and speculation about Lonzo Ball and if he will ever play basketball again. Well, there's also additional speculation that the reason behind Lonzo Ball's injury is because of the lack of support from his original basketball shoe made by none other than the Big Baller brand. The Lakers and their medical staff are saying that his injuries that he's suffering from right now, that he may not ever be able to play basketball ever again, is because of the lack of support from that poorly made shoe that LeVar Ball tried to capitalize on because his sons are great basketball players, and he figured making his own shoe that he's never done before was a great idea. Lonzo Ball, I hope you get better. I hope this is not the end of your career because of that. Whew. LeVar, this time I think you can't say you never lost. Eddy, cool. The ball.
Them shoes are being Family Dollar next week. All right, my second pepper point is here in the city of Cleveland, Ohio. All right. Greg Newsom and Perry and Winfrey, they got robbed at gunpoint outside of a nightclub, and the story was reported by Ryan Glass-Steagall of the New York Post. It goes a little something like this. ESPN reported Tuesday that Browns defensive tackle Perry on Winfrey and cornerback Greg Newsom II were leaving a Cleveland nightclub at 3:30 in the morning on Monday when they were approached by a group of 6 masked men who were wielding weapons. The thieves stole jewelry and Newsom's truck, fleeing the quarterback's vehicle. The police report had the players' names redacted, but ESPN learned their identities through a team source. Newsom seemingly referenced the incident on Monday night, tweeting, "It's a cruel world we live in," and he added a player emoji. Kevin Stefanski says, "I'm glad that our guys are okay." And Myles Garrett said, "I'm just glad to see that they're all right as well, too. There's ongoing investigation." And also, to make matters worse, running back Demetric Felton, he had his Dodge Durango stolen out of his garage over the weekend. I don't know what the hell is going on. I'm going to have to get a club put on my car. Do they still make the clubs? But Yeah, at least they made it
Get out of there,
alive.
Eddie Cole. Get out of there.
Oh my God, I got to do something, man. I gotta move to the burbs, to the country or something, man, where there's nobody out there. Over to you, Scottie D.
All right. I am hereby naming my Idiot of the Week award for our podcast.
Boy.
Idiot
And
of
this
the
one
week.
goes out to Scottie Pippen.
Oh,
Scottie
boy.
Pippen last week was on, I believe it was Stacey King's podcast, and he went on there, first of all, looking really stupid because his new hair sucks. He looks like he's going through a midlife crisis. Scottie Pippen talking about Michael Jordan was a horrible player before he got there. Are we talking about the same Michael Jordan, the one that hit the game-winning shot for North Carolina in the championship, and then as a rookie averaged 28 points, and then would go on to the greatest career in the history of the NBA that nobody has ever seen any player as good, competitive, demanding as this guy? And Scottie Pippen said, before I got there, he was a horrible player, a horrible person to play with. And once we got there and started winning some games, everyone forgot who he was. Scottie Pippen, this is so bad on so many levels. First of all, you sound petty, you sound jealous, and worst of all, you sound like an idiot. Even if you do believe that, you don't say that out loud. Don't say that out loud, because everybody loves Jordan. Everybody loves him. Even if he's not a very nice guy, which he wasn't, even if he was a tough teammate, which he was, everybody loves him. Scottie, you got to shut up. Just do better. Be live.
You know what? I'm gonna tell you what. Be live. I know you gotta go, but Scottie Pippen is the only reason he mad as hell is because Larsa Pippen, his ex-wife, is dating Marcus Jordan, and Larsa is over here wearing them Jordan 1s, and Scottie is getting it put in his face every day.
You just got to be quiet about certain things, though. It just makes you look better.
Marcus over there putting that foot on that neck that Larsa. Anyway, go ahead, B-Love. I'm sorry.
There's other methods and forms of therapy. saying dumb stuff like that ain't making it any better. All right. My second pepper point goes to the fact that as much as we, the three of us, don't believe so, the world does not revolve around sports. And it became painfully obvious because college baseball, they just got done with their regionals. I ain't trying to hear it. South Carolina made it, Clemson didn't, blah, blah, blah. Well, the Lexington, Kentucky regional, Kentucky earned the right to be a host a regional. But see, what happened is that during that same weekend, there was a country music festival in town that took up all of the hotels within an hour radius. So visiting teams, West Virginia, Indiana, and Ball State, had to stay in the college dormitories to make it to their games, which could be a little bit painful when it comes to logistics, comes to meetings, comes to such and such. So, yeah, what do you do? Don't schedule, but I'm pretty sure that country music festival is scheduled months in advance. You have no idea. What was it? There was it was Atlanta Hawks. I think it was Janet Jackson.
Yeah.
What do you do? All I know is this: Taylor Swift's going to win every single time. Eddie Cool. It's ridiculous. Y'all stop paying so much money for Taylor Swift. I've as a DJ, I've tried to listen to some of her songs to expand my repertoire. For what? Why is y'all silly little white women just in love with it?
She's
good.
Good
At what?
I know you were trouble when you walked in.
Scottie D, I swear for everything. Stop it immediately. Eddie Cool, the ball.
Yeah, give it to me real quick. All right. So good news, fellas. Zion Williams is in the news for a good reason. All right.
Huh.
All right. So even though
he lost weight.
Well, hold on. Well, but I mean, the form of exercise may have permitted. Wink, wink, nod, nod. Even though he, coming off his 4th season and he averaged 26 points a game, 7 rebounds, 4.6 assists, but only played 29 games due to a lingering hamstring injury. Zion, he about to be a daddy. Yep, that's right. New Orleans Pelicans star Zion Williamson and his partner Akima announced Tuesday that they are having a baby girl. The couple staged a gender reveal party Saturday, which culminated in pink fireworks being shot into the sky. So shot, and that was per Joseph Zucker on Bleacher Report. So shout out to Zion Williams. You're about to be a daddy, which means you really got to stay healthy and you have a reason to work because you got to provide for your baby girl. But best of luck to you, Zion. Best of luck to you, Zion.
Zion Williamson having a baby. Omar's getting married. There is hope for big guys like me. All right, cool.
I'm telling you. Over to you, Scottie D.
Trouble. All right, Scottie Pippen, move over on the bench because there is a second idiot of the week, and that is the NBA commissioner, Adam Silver, who, when asked about Ja Morant and his latest legal problems, said, "We have investigated it, and we are going to announce a decision. But we're not going to do it right now because that would overshadow the NBA Finals." And in doing so, completely overshadowed the NBA Finals. Aren't you supposed to be smarter than that, dude? By saying that, what you should have said was, no comment. We'll talk about it after these finals are over. But in saying that, now everybody's speculating that it's going to be a half a year or some kind of major suspension, which it probably will be. But then every talk show went on the following couple of days and speculated it and talked about that more than the poor Nuggets who always get overlooked and the Heat. And for that reason, Adam Silver, you joined Scottie Pippen in the Idiot of the Week. Be live. Trouble.
I thought the same exact thing. I said, oh my God, you just by saying that, all we're doing is speculating at this moment. There is a Ja Morant suspension countdown now because of that. People are waiting for the NBA Finals to get over with so they can find out how long Ja Morant's being suspended. Well, my third and final pepper point, I'm going to leave it at this. We started this show talking about Arab money, and we're going to end the show talking about Arab money because soccer superstar, Scottie D, you can go ahead and leave. Soccer superstar Karim Benzema is signing a 3-year contract with Saudi club Al Ittihad. 3 years in the tune of $643 million.
They're just passing out stimulus checks over there.
$214 million a year. Where? The Sports Bros Podcast, brought to you by Exxon Mobil or Prince Alim Abad Abish. I want Arab money. I don't, what? 3 years, $643 million. $643 million. That's 9.
Call us the Live Podcast for all I care. Send us a check.
He makes more than Patrick Mahomes.
He makes more. Just makes more. There's no comparison to that. I take that back. I think there was talk of Lionel Messi in the billion category. I haven't seen anything. I don't think it's happened yet. But just the fact, 3 years, parents, teach your kids soccer. Period. I'm telling you, as much as Scottie D doesn't like
anybody can play. Nobody scores. Anybody can play. You just luck one in once in a while. Anybody can. I could play soccer.
That is disrespect. Yeah. Go ahead. Try out for one of these your European teams. Go ahead. Go to Saudi Arabia right now and try out and see how far you get.
I could score just as many as their leading scorer, which is 0.
One of these days, we're gonna have the Sports Bros Really Does Sports challenge, and we're gonna kick a soccer ball and try to hit a baseball, try to hit a softball, try to throw a football. I ain't gonna tackle nobody because I'm got time for all that mess. But yeah, but that does it for another episode of the Choices of the Voices. Remember, thanks for listening to us here on Spotify,
643.
Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, or whether you consume your podcast. Also, check us out on the Sports Bros YouTube channel. Like, review, comment, subscribe, and make sure you hit that subscription bell so you don't miss nothing on the Sports Bros podcast. BLive will be putting out the USFL videos, the lifted videos, and yeah, that's it. And with that being said, and in closing, do something nice for yourself, and if you can, do something nice for someone else. They'll greatly appreciate it now more than ever. Be a blessing, never a burden, because it's summertime and you ain't got no reason to be angry. It's been another episode of the Sports Bros podcast.
She wears high heels, I wear sneakers.
Stop it.
And I'm in the bleachers.
Yes, sir.
I'm telling y'all right now, that's the only reason Scottie Pippen is cutting up, because Marcus Jordan is dating Larsa Pippen, and I'm gonna hate to steal a joke from Ricky Smiley. Larsa Pippen be telling Marcus Jordan, Marcus, come in here. It's time to go to bed. Tell your little friends to go home. Come here. It's time for you to go to bed. As a matter of fact, go over there, Marcus, and grab them Oreos behind the over red and Bacher. Hey, we out of here. Bye. Y'all take care. Thanks for listening, watching, and see y'all next week. It's been another episode of the Sports Bros podcast.
You belong to me.
Wow.
Can I stop recording now?
Please stop recording.
I got some more to say. No, I'm joking. Bye, y'all. Bye.
Stop the damn recording.
Hey, it's Eddie Cool here from the Sports Bros podcast. Thank you for listening, and as always, continue to follow us on all of our social media platforms. Just click the link in the description box and keep up with the Sports Bros podcast. And once again, thanks for listening.